Aging isn't about slowing down, it's about stepping into your power. Welcome to Don't Let the Old Lady In, the podcast where we challenge outdated beliefs about getting older and embrace wellness, self-love, and confidence. Your host is Lorie Gardner, a registered nurse and nationally board-certified health and wellness coach, and she is your guide on this journey to vibrant, mindful living. Each episode will explore topics that nourish your mind, body, and spirit, and how to navigate health issues in the healthcare system as you age, so you can live with energy, purpose, and joy. Let's get started. Here's your host, Lorie Gardner. Welcome back, my friends. Before we begin this conversation, I want to share something with you. When I first started this podcast, Don't Let the Old Lady In, it was all about challenging aging beliefs that we hold about aging. It was about proving that getting older doesn't mean giving up vitality, your purpose, or your dreams. But over time, something really cool happened, something beautiful. I realized that what I really enjoy most is simply sharing information. Actually having conversations is way more important to me. Conversations about questions we all wrestle with, the challenges we face, the stories that shape us. That's what I love. And the small choices that help us become stronger, wiser, and more alive. That's what I want for all of you. So while the title of the podcast, Don't Let the Old Lady In, will remain, I'm adding a little bit of a tagline to it called Conversations with Lorie. And this is because that's what I would like this to become. Not a lecture, not a lesson. You guys are all creative, resourceful, and whole out there. I believe that about you. But it's like, I want to think of it as two friends sitting down together, cup of tea each week to explore what it really means to live well at any age. So, here we go. This is Conversations with Lorie, number 1. Let's begin. And I hope you'll share with me so that it can become two-way conversations. You can private message me, you can drop comments, feel free to comment below. So today, what I'd like to talk about is your body talking to you. Are you listening? Hello again and welcome. So glad you're here. And just by way of introduction, I'm Lorie Gardner, registered nurse, and I know a lot of you are coming in new. I'm also a nationally board-certified health and wellness coach. I'm not going to repeat this every time because to me, credentials don't matter. What matters is that I've lived several years to share experiences about. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever had the feeling that your body was trying to tell you something, but life was simply too busy for you to listen? Wow. Maybe you've been exhausted for months. Maybe you noticed a subtle symptom. Maybe you simply felt that somewhere along the way, you stopped taking care of yourself because you spent years taking care of everyone else. I know I have felt that along the years. So it's not uncommon to have that feeling. So I am also a longevity coach, and that's one of my favorite new titles, longevity coach. How do we live well and live long? I've spent a lifetime learning and listening to my patients, to my body, to that quiet inner voice that has guided me, I got to tell you, ladies, through every major chapter of my life. So today isn't a lecture. It's simply a conversation. And I hope you join along with me and think about times that your body was talking to you along the way. When I was 5 years old, that was the first time I looked back and I thought, honest to God, when I was 5, I knew I was going to be a nurse. I never questioned it. I don't think I told anybody about it. Nobody told me what to do. I just knew in here, right? And looking back, I realized that was one of my first quiet whispers that shaped my life. I grew up in a family of 7. My parents, God love them, couldn't give us everything materially. They just couldn't. But they gave us something more valuable, I believe, and that is character, courage, resilience. My mother loved to say, God helps those who help themselves, and God help you if you don't. She also loved to say, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And when opportunity knocks, she always said, open that door and find out. The worst that they can say is no, and that answer of no never hurt anybody. So at that time, they were just mom sayings. Today, I realized they became the foundation of how I approached life without even knowing it. They taught me to be curious instead of fearful. Oh, of course, I've had fear in my life, but it also taught me to keep growing, to keep saying yes to new opportunities. And these lessons, oh my gosh, these lessons have carried me through every season of my life. There was another season that changed me forever. And ladies, the reason I share this is because a lot of you are new, and I just want to give you a foundation a little bit about where I'm coming from and what I can help you all with. So in my 20s, I was living in Manhattan, in New York City, and working as a nurse. I worked hard, but I also played hard, I must say. Eventually, my body began screaming at me. I developed recurring, horrible tachycardia. At the time, I thought my body was betraying me. Looking back, I think I was betraying my body with what I was doing to it. I see a body that was trying to desperately get attention. It was just screaming at me. And years later, in my 30s, when I look back at that time, I looked successful from the outside, married, kids, new home. I had a child. I was building a career. I had a great career. But inside, I'm going to be honest with you, I was overwhelmed after 2 miscarriages and the stress of corporate life and everything else that goes with developing family and marriages. I just remember thinking, I can't keep living like this. I just can't do it. I got to do something. And one day I wandered into a bookstore, and I always say God pushed me in there and dropped a book in my hand called The Relaxation Response. And that felt safe to me. It was a book on meditation. And it introduced me to the meditation in a way I could take it. But I have to tell you, it changed my life. Within a month, I practiced. It was not easy. Ladies, if you've never meditated, I imagine you could go through the same thing. You close your eyes, you're trying to think happy thoughts or just no thoughts, and every thought in the world comes popping in your head. Oh, I gotta pay the mortgage. Oh, I forgot to do this. Oh, I left Lorie. It happens. But I practiced and I committed myself to it. And in a month, I not only felt calmer, but I finally lost. I lost the 7 pounds of baby weight I'd been trying to lose for over 6 or 7 months. But more importantly, it introduced me to something I still consider the greatest tool in my wellness toolbox: stillness. Listening. Meditation became the beginning of a lifelong journey inward. And years later came another whisper. My body started to talk to me, one that could easily have been ignored. Something said inside of me, pay attention. And if I had not paid attention, I don't know where I'd be today. But as a result, I got this checked out. It turns out I had a pancreatic condition that needed kind of a massive, major surgery. And as a nurse, I understood the possible complications, but I also understood the power of hope. I spoke to my body, and this is only after years of doing meditation and all this inside work. I visualized my healing. When my surgeon said I'd be in the hospital for 7 to 14 days, I said, no. I will be ready on my 6th day. I kind of had a daughter I had to get home to for her birthday. But it was not because I believed I controlled everything. Oh, no. It was because I wanted my body, my mind, and my spirit working together toward healing. And I worked on this hard. And with gratitude, I went home on day 6. And that experience really deepened something I'd been learning for years, that healing is about so much more than treating illness. It invites us to care for the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. During my recovery, which was long and hard, I spent afternoons sitting quietly in my backyard. I had a beautiful backyard. And one day my coach called me. I had been studying to be a life coach. And she mentioned this profession I'd never heard of before called healthcare advocacy, where nurses at that time helped people navigate through the healthcare system. And I said, are you kidding me? I mean, I've been doing that for years, pro bono, for all my family members and, anybody. But when I heard that I could make a profession out of that, the moment she described it, I don't know, I felt something so alive in me. It was like I was shot out of a cannon. I knew at that time that this was a calling from above, wherever your above is. But for the next 16 years, I've had the privilege, these past 16 years, of navigating one of the most confusing healthcare systems with all of my clients. And I've loved every minute of it. Has the work been hard sometimes? Yeah. But the reward is tremendous. But eventually, another quiet question appeared. And it was like this. What if I didn't wait until women became patients and were sick and needed that kind of advocacy? And that question eventually led me to become a board-certified health and wellness coach. Not because I wanted to have health care, because I wanted to move upstream. Today, I believe one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves is learning to care for our health before illness gets us. So I want to prevent people from getting stuck in the vortex of what I call the healthcare system, and be well and age well. So our health guides everything we do. And I believe every woman is creative, resourceful, and whole. I don't believe my role is to tell you how to live your life. I believe you're the expert in your life. My role is simply to walk beside you, to ask thoughtful questions, to share what I've learned if you're interested, to encourage you to become curious and want to learn, and to help you reconnect with the wisdom that's already inside of you. That's where all the value, that's where your gold is, ladies. So before we end our conversation today, I'd like to leave you with a question. And I'm going to do this every week because I think, honestly, that a lot of our answers are in the questions. So I'm going to try and give you a thoughtful question each week to ponder. And I just want you to consider this from week to week. This is the question of the week. What has your body been trying to tell you lately? Don't rush to the answer. Just become curious and still. Sometimes the greatest transformation begins with one quiet question. I've seen it over and over again. But I thank you for inviting me into your day. In today's conversation, if it resonated with you, I'd love you to invite somebody else that might be useful to find this, get this information under their belt, or to listen to this podcast going forward. So if you want to even step further into this, I have what I love to share, which is a Don't Let the Old Lady In wellness assessment. It kind of tells you where you might be on your wellness journey. You can also get an archetype from there that really describes how you are. It might help you take that next step towards living longer, stronger, healthier, and with greater purpose, which is what I want for all of you. And so until our next conversation, listen to your body, trust your inner wisdom, stay curious, and remember, it's never too late to become the woman you were meant to be. I hope you enjoyed it. Please drop any comments below. And remember, most of all, don't let that old lady in. Value the year that you are, the age number, but remember, aging is inevitable, but decline is optional. It's up to you, ladies. I'm here to help. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next week. And that's a wrap on today's episode of Don't Let the Old Lady In. Remember, age is just a number. Your mindset, energy, and passion are what truly define you. If this episode spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend. Subscribe and leave a review so we can continue this journey together. You are strong, vibrant, and unstoppable. Until next time, keep living boldly, loving yourself fully, and most importantly, don't let the old lady in.